Hi everyone, welcome back to River and Rune. Thank you guys for joining me on the channel today. I'm very excited to get into the runes and see what they have to say for the week ahead. So I found it very interesting because just before I started this video, when I opened my eyes to say hello to you guys, because I tend to take some time to meditate prior, just to get myself in the appropriate energy to do the reading. When I opened my eyes, my right eye was completely blurry. I couldn't see. And I was like, that's interesting. But I wanted to share with you guys that sometimes, or oftentimes, our body speaks to us in many ways. And I think it's a beautiful thing when we are able to attach and connect to these particular messages that our body is constantly relaying to us and become more aware of ourselves in the process. So when the right eye is blurry for me, I usually take that as spirit or this energy trying to say, hey look, it's time to close your right eye. It's time to let go of the doing aspect of things. The right side traditionally being associated with the more quote-unquote masculine energy, the electric principle, as I like to call it. So this electric energy, it's time to mitigate that electricity and connect more deeply to the magnetic side of our lives, to receive more, to welcome in the blessings that are coming, and also to allow ourselves to rest, recover, especially in this Cancer season, because the sun is currently in Cancer. So happy birthday to all the Cancers out there. The sun being in Cancer is very much illuminating aspects of our emotional lives, specifically around partnerships, relationships, the home, and our relationship to what home means to us. So it makes sense that it's time to focus more on our inner home, to the magnetism and the intuition and the energy of receiving that comes when we do engage with homeward energy. So let's get to the runes. I see that many of you may have actually returned home, gone back home, or are in a home space. But that's for just some of you. Okay, cool. This is going to be a very interesting week for a lot of us. So, first thing I'd like to say is, as you guys know, I like to sing to create the vibrational frequency that I would like for the reading to hold. And it was a song that I like from The Lord of the Rings, which is about home. Pippin's song, for those of you who know it. But what really caught my eye was this, at first, dagas, which is outside of the rune table. So of course, as you guys know, the energies that are outside of the rune table, you could read them if you feel called to do so, right? Especially if they catch your eye. If you're doing your cast, for those of you who do want to learn the runes, if you're doing your cast and it's outside your rune table or outside of the cloth or whatever it is, the designated space for your runes to fall, then read it according to a specific theme. So for example, my eye was drawn to dagas, and for many of us, I got the message that we are receiving a lot of downloads this week, a lot of revelations, things are coming to light. Perhaps you figured out that you love somebody that you never even thought that you could be in that space. It's kind of like, wait, oh my goodness, I'm in love with them. That kind of energy. Or something very similar where, you're opening yourself up to family members, or opening yourself up to a friend, or perhaps certain energies are being brought to light, things that were once hidden by the night time of our subconscious, or the night time of things unsaid, is now being revealed by the daylight, by the coming of day. So for those of you who connect to the tarot, it is connected to the Judgment card. The second thing that came to mind was Perthro, because as I cast, Perthro felt a part of the cast, especially because it was on the rune table, but it felt more of like the theme that was present. And what I mean by that is Perthro usually upright is like this, reverse is like this, but oftentimes there are days when it falls up or down. And you could reveal that message depending on its position. So for example, if it's upright, it looks like a cup. And this is also known as the lot cup, where they would cast their lots, where you would cast your die, where you would take your chance. But when it's reversed like this, or upside down, I wouldn't say reverse, when it's upside down, the cup is empty. You're emptying the cup. It's almost as if you have cast your lot, right? You've actually cast the dice, you've cast the bones, you've cast the runes, whatever it is that you've done, you've played your hand, so to speak. And this energy feels really enlivening. This week ahead feels very much like there's a revelation that comes through, or that is coming through, or has come through in the past 2 days, I feel. So whatever this revelation was for you, it has come in very heavily, very loudly. And now it's time to cast your lot. It's time to take your chance, to shoot your shot, so to speak, and see what happens. It's very, very, very interesting because the runes in the center of the reading, or the main part of this reading, feels very interesting. I feel to read it from right to left because the way that they have fallen, they fell mainly in a triangle. So because they're in a triangle, if we allow that ripple of time to go through the space, they happen in equal measure. They happen at an equal distance from the epicenter of time, right? So how I would read that is that all of these energies are happening at once. And I'm going to read them according to how I feel. So I feel to go from right to center and then to left, and then we'll go on. So the first one is Haglas, right? So in the next 2 or 3 days, this Haglas represents the hail. It literally means hail, Haglas. This storm, this energy of things that are outside of our control, outside of our purview, outside of our ability to hold on to it. There are certain elements in our lives, for example, when you're working with a partnership or a certain relationship, or you're engaging with someone else, whether it be your parent, your friend, or whoever it is, there are certain things that are outside of our control. We cannot control how they feel, how they look at us, how they perceive us. We can't control their mental processes or how their soul and their emotional energies are working through whatever it is they're working through. We can't control these things. We can't control the weather. We can't control certain elements of things around us, right? So Haglas really represents that hail, this storm that's around us, things that are outside of our control that we have to let go of. And sometimes, even as we get in contact with these emotions, for example, let's take that earlier example where I said, for some people, there's that feeling, this dagas, this coming of day, where you felt, oh my goodness, I've fallen in love with this person, as an example. Haglas represents this feeling of chaos, right? This feeling of, now I have no control over that. I have acknowledged this feeling, acknowledged this emotion, and now what? Now what do I do? Now how do I go about this? Or for those of you who are pursuing a particular kind of career, it could be this one day brilliance where it just comes through and you say to yourself, oh my goodness, I think I know what I want to do. Or I think I know what I have to do. I have to leave, or I have to go and start a new life somewhere. Or I felt this call to move and I think it's time to do it. This dagas moment sometimes triggers the hail. It triggers the storm. It triggers this feeling of the loss of control. But the beautiful energy of Haglas also is that when the storm rages, oftentimes we have to go inside. We have to go home. We have to go back into ourselves. We have to turn inward to find our inner strength, to find out what we feel. So in regards to that earlier example, let's say you feel, oh my goodness, I now know what I want to do. I know that I have to move. Time to turn inward. Find that center. Find that center of gravity. Be present in the home of your body, in the home of your emotions, and say to yourself, okay, what do I feel? Where am I moving? Is there a way that I can ask for help? How can I open myself up to receive this blessing? These things that are within your control, are the things that are within the home, right? And even those things sometimes are outside of our control. And the best thing that we can do is to open our hands and receive what comes. So the next rune is Manas, but it fell on its side. So I feel for some of us, it may be a very confusing moment, a very confusing time. As these revelations come in, we may feel disconnected from our intuition. So for the next couple of days, there may be feelings of, what am I going to do? How am I going to act on this intuition that I received? How am I going to process these things, right? But Manas represents our connection to our higher self. It also represents cunning. It represents the ability for the mind to create the world around it, right? Or to perceive it such that it allows for particular understandings to come through and others not to. The mind is a very powerful filter in that way. So Manas here falling on its side is saying, take your time as you process the things that you are going through at this time. Allow yourself to look at what's going on and to release what you cannot control and to embrace what you can. Embrace your intuition and your connection to your higher self, but allow yourself to release the stress of overthinking, if that is possible, if that is within your purview, and allow yourself to seek out the guidance and help of others, because Manas also represents help. It represents mankind. It represents humankind, having our communities around us to assist us. And then later this week, going into, I would say, Monday and Tuesday energy, there's this Sowilo, this really brilliant light, this sun. Sowilo is the sun. So for those of you who do tarot, it is the sun card. It is this joy, this happiness, this abundance, this wealth, this prosperity. And this is all connected to allowing yourself to tap into your home, tap into that center, allow these revelations to come in, and then take your time as you cast your lot. Because what it is has happened. And it's time to roll the dice, to take the risk, to take the chance, and allow this sun to rise. Allow this sunlight to permeate your life. Really powerful reading. A really powerful reading. So I hope that it resonates with you guys. I hope that you enjoyed it. I'm very grateful for you taking the time to spend with me here on River and Rune to hang out. So please like and subscribe if you like the channel. It's a fun way to support YouTubers like myself who are doing some fun stuff, and I really appreciate you guys spending some time with me. Please check out my podcast, Freya's Gold, on Spotify. I've been getting back into the episodes, and this week is going to be a fun episode as well. So thank you guys for joining. Much love, and I'll see you next week here on River and Rune. Bye everyone!